Well, hello. I am Alex Mershon.
Quite formal. I'm Laura Mershon.
And you are listening to the WeArePR Podcast. That was so good.
I'm really lost.
That was such a good structured introduction. See, that's probably been the most structure we've ever had in our, the history of our lives.
I didn't like it.
Oh, okay. Well, scratch that. Okay. So, since you didn't like that, we're just going to move right on to our question of the week. And I'm not prepared for this because I did not write down who asked it.
Oh.
Aww. We need like a sound effects, like.
Oh gosh.
All right, that's our next upgrade. And our question of the week was, how can I pursue my dream when I am still working a 9 to 5? Funny you should ask.
The daily.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do, mystery man or woman, not to be gender specific.
Moving on.
Yeah, but that is exactly what we do, and it should not. I mean, that's probably why you asked us. But honestly, you've got your 8 hours a day that are locked up, but it depends. It's hard to answer this question because I don't know the situation that you're in. There are so many other hours in the day besides the 8 hours that you are at work. If you have a 9 to 5 and you're working every single weekday, then you still have plenty of time every single day when you get home at 5 o'clock, if you work till midnight or 1 or whenever, to get plenty of stuff done, to document what you're doing, to create content, to run your business. There's plenty of time, and you have to. Does it suck? Absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to be pushed for time.
Yeah, it's not easy, but
you're not asking for the easy way out.
Yeah.
You are literally asking to have a life where you make your own decisions and you run your own life. Then you've got to be willing to kind of pay up front for it, which is what this is.
yeah, so it's finding the time either on the front end of your day, getting up early before work and being able to crank stuff out if that's when you're able to focus the best, or if it's after you get home from work, you take an hour break, you go to the gym or whatever. Like most of the time that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to the gym before we really start anything else, and sometimes we don't get home till like 9 o'clock. We'll eat dinner and then we'll start on stuff. It just depends on where you're going to be most productive in your day.
Yeah.
When you're home.
Yeah, and I think it also depends on what your priorities are. So obviously, my wife is pretty much above everything. I'd probably say, let's do this. What are your top 4 priorities right now? Ooh, that put you on the spot too hardcore.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's run with mine. So I would say my top 4 priorities are my wife. I don't know. 4 is a bad idea. Let's go with 3. My wife, lifting, just like working out, and the business are my top 3 priorities. So I'm going to put a lot more effort, or I shouldn't say that. I'm going to put time into every single day into my wife. I'm going to put time every single day into lifting, or just overall fitness, whether that's health or taking a walk or physically working out. Like, that's just a priority that I have. And then the third one is I'm not going to go a single day without either thinking about my business or working on it or doing something. And there's some overlap in there. Obviously, Laura and I both are building this, so we spend time together, but it's good to have some time outside of this together. And same thing with the lifting. Obviously, I can wear the clothing while we're doing that. We can get promotional shots. And it all kind of intertwines together, but they all need to have their own separate things. So my biggest piece of advice for you would be to really figure out, when can you be the most productive? Is it morning? Is it night? And just set that time aside to just get working on stuff.
Yeah, and even if it's like starting out, you only have like 2 hours worth of stuff you think you can do, set that 2 hours aside, and eventually you'll find that you've been working for 4 hours and you were so involved in it that your time just flew by. Eventually you will continue to grow all of the stuff that you have to work on and to do, and maybe it'll be the opposite. Maybe you'll feel like you have 8 hours of work, and then later you'll feel like you only have 2. Some days are heavier than others, and you also need to learn balance. if there's a day you really don't feel like doing anything, listen to your body and your mind and just take that break, but don't count yourself out completely for that, because sometimes you do need to just decompress from everything, because you do have an 8-hour job that you're working every weekday, and then you come home and you pour yourself completely into your business, and it's exhausting sometimes. So don't be afraid to take that break. If it's just your afternoon off, then take that, or take the morning off or whatever, and then hit it hard the next day. I mean, sometimes you need that little bit of break for inspiration and ideas to start flowing easy again.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that real quick. That is not how I do it at all, which is probably not the healthiest thing, but I'm the exact polar opposite of what she said, which is exactly why she said that, is because she sees the other side of that. She sees what happens when you work that 8-hour and you come home and work 10 more hours, and then you get 2 hours of sleep, wake up in the morning, and then do it all again before you go back to work. Like, she sees that.
But at the same time, like, I also see the days where you've been working, whether it's a whole month straight without taking that break, and you completely, you just implode almost. Like, you're on the couch and you get down on yourself for not feeling like doing anything, and it's because you've just filled yourself so full of all of the stuff at your job, and then all of the stuff you've put on yourself here, that you really do need to take that step back. So, it really is hard, because you have to be able to find that balance. No one else can find that balance for you. And if it takes, a month for you to get to that point where
you will not have that figured out in the first week.
Oh, no, you won't. But if it takes a month for you to feel that, that stressed and that so bogged down by everything, maybe that works for you, but maybe try building in, every 2 weeks you take one day that you're just gonna decompress. I figure out your balance and what's gonna work for you.
Exactly. So, mystery person who asked this question because I didn't write you down. Here's what I want you to do this next week. I want you to, I think the biggest thing that we can both agree on that you can take away from this is 8 hours does not make up your full day. You have plenty of time outside of that to do this and keep progressing up until the point where you are financially stable enough to stop working that 9 to 5. Because let's face it, that's why you're working it. You're working it for straight money, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that, but that you need to realize that this is just a short-term plan. So this week I want you to really sit down, and I want you to take time out of each and every single day and put it towards what you want to do. Put it towards your business and growing that. And if you find that you cannot physically fill 4 hours or 3 hours or 2 hours of your day with this business, then maybe you're not pushing hard enough. Maybe there's more that you could be doing. There's always more to do, but at the end of the day, you need to really sit down and figure out how much work you have to do and the best way that you can get the most bang for your buck.
And part of that, figuring out what all you can do towards your business or your passion or whatever it is, you have an education side to that as well, as much as a physical work side. So whether it's, for us, it's making designs, but also Alex, he does a lot of research on the social media side and marketing and learning that aspect of it, because he didn't go to school for that. So that's something that he's invested time in as well to learn, so that way he can benefit the business completely, because he's invested time in that. So there is the physical side of creating content and product and making sure all your ducks are in a row, but you also need to make sure that you are educating yourself about your business as well and the industry that you're trying to break into.
Shazam. I think that's a solid answer.
I like
Good
that.
answer?
Yeah.
Bam. So let's piggyback off that a little bit. Let's talk about our business a little bit. Just so I don't know, maybe we can piggyback off this and make something decent out of it instead of just answering a question.
Yeah.
So rapid fire. It's not really rapid fire. I say it's rapid fire, but I'm gonna ask you a question. I know we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part about owning this business, or just being involved with this?
I like the design side. I never really played with Illustrator until I moved in after we got married and started messing with the design stuff. And I really like that aspect of it. I also really like taking the pictures. So, I mean, I like the photography side too, and getting those pictures set up and working on the website when we work on that and redesigning stuff. I think that's my favorite.
And my favorite is the physical creation of a good. I think I have always been fascinated with building things myself, like with my own hands. And that's why I think I enjoy the actual printing process, is because I enjoy getting ink on my hands. I enjoy when things don't necessarily work and you have to figure out what's wrong with the system or figure out what's causing a certain issue. And it makes it a little bit more difficult when you're not an expert in the field, like I was starting out with screen printing. But that's one of the things that drew me to this, is that where you are physically making a product. And that's just cool. I enjoy the physical creation of products. So that's my favorite part of this. Least favorite part.
Least favorite part. I think honestly it's just watching you get frustrated. I don't like the uncertainty of most of it. Sometimes I really hate the social media side of it, and that's just me, because I feel like we constantly have to be engaged in the online, which is fine. I like the personal connection more than just the one across the web kind of thing. I almost wish there was more opportunity to actually engage with people one-on-one versus trying to create something over the internet. I think that's like my least favorite part, is that it's not all in person.
Yeah.
It makes it hard.
I'd be lying if I said social media wasn't up there. I mean, it is a lot to just keep everything updated and keep everything up to par. But I mean, I do enjoy that. I enjoy the creation of that stuff because it's creating something. So I can't say that's my least favorite. I'd probably say my least favorite is like the actual business side of doing like the taxes and the paperwork that goes with it and budgeting and just playing out all the monetary stuff. That's the part that I could easily do without. And the second that I can hire an accountant, bam. No, not really, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of doing all the numbers and keeping track of all the actual business tax stuff. I just don't enjoy it. It's just boring for me. It needs to be done, but it's just boring and I don't enjoy it at all. Okay, what is the part that you did not expect? So when you first moved in, and when we got married and you moved in, what parts did you not expect?
I don't think I expected there to be like so many moving parts on the press, for one. I mean, that's like a physical part.
You mean like
like how hard it would be to actually like calibrate the screen to work. Like I just assumed everything would be like in a fixed position ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's not. And it's like every single time you put a different screen on there, you have to redo something.
And it has a little bit to do with us having a low quality press because that's all we can afford, and it has a little bit to do with us using wood screens instead of aluminum. So.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of different factors, but I never would have expected that. I would have thought it would have been like way more fine-tuned across the board. Just, just because you purchased a press and, Alright, so that kind of threw me for a loop. And then also just like keeping up with content, like you just said, like it's a lot. Like you burn through pictures like crazy, and it's like I just made 6 and you used them in 2 days and now I'm left with nothing. Okay. So you feel like you're starting from the bottom a lot.
Now we're here. That might get copyrighted. That was pretty close.
Yeah.
What did I expect the least? I'll be honest. I did not expect it to be this much work. And I know that's kind of funny coming from someone like me, is that But I don't think people grasp just how much effort and concentration and just pure work that it takes to make something successful or even profitable.
Yeah, because it's every single day. Like,
And I think I'm used to it now, but when I first started it, I thought I was working hard when I first started, when I had like one Instagram picture a week and one video every other week. Mm-hmm. Like I thought I was like just killing the content game. But I got to watching and like, I mean, now we're looking at, we're at like a podcast a week. We shoot for a video a day, which really kind of turns into like a video every 2 or 3 days. We've solidly posted a minimum of 4 Instagram pictures. I mean, we're at like 7 Twitter updates a day, 5 Facebook updates a day. Like all that content to get done in the 5 hours that we have, like it's a lot. And on top of that, you're not just doing that content. What has to happen before that is the business has to run. You have to ship your orders. You have to make sure your content is working. You have to make sure your website's working. You have to make sure your customers are happy and check on packages. Like, there's other stuff that has to happen besides the content.
Yeah, that's just a majority of keeping up with everything, though, is content.
Which is why we try to do it. The method that we use is more of on the fly, where we take pictures as we're doing things. We videotape things as we're doing it. It's not like we're staging things, because I feel like if we had to stage things and like plan out a video, like I don't think we would ever get anything done.
I mean, honestly, yeah, we'll be like, hey, do you want to video something tonight? But then, like, as soon as we turn the camera on, it's not like we've scripted everything. It's pretty much like, okay, I want to talk about this. Go.
Yeah.
And then everything just kind of goes from there. So it's not that we don't have an idea of what we want sometimes, but like other times it's literally just like, okay, I'm turning the camera on. I hope you're doing something. Like,
which is what it turns into, like, most of the times.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot to keep up with, especially if you want to make sure that you've got a lot of content going out. Because the more content you have going out, the more people you're probably going to reach. Especially if you vary your times and stuff like that. So that's also something that we spent a lot of time messing with. We reconfigured our content strategy multiple times.
We still don't have it figured out.
No, and I think that's almost the best way to do it. Because if you were to be too consistent with it, you'd miss a whole group of people. So you almost have to be sporadic with it and willing to change it, every few weeks or every couple weeks or every week, even if that's what it calls for.
Oh, yeah, especially with how quickly social media and that's a whole nother conversation with just how quickly you have to be able to react to things. But yeah, it changes daily, weekly, monthly. Everything changes.
Yep. So just, being willing to be adaptable is huge.
Adapt or die. Mm-hmm. Bam. That was a good body.
Yeah.
So if you've noticed, we've structured this.
Tried to.
We have structured this. Mm-hmm. We had an intro, which was fire.
Awful.
We had a question of the week, which was pretty good.
On point.
We had a body where we kind of expanded more on the question. And now we're going to wrap it up with our
random fact of the week.
Ba-da-da. Oh, I can't do that. Did you know that banging your head against the wall burns 150 calories per hour?
I don't recommend it.
But if you are going to do it,
maybe get some headgear, protect your head.
Well, I want to know how they tested this. I want to know what age, what gender, and what rate.
Yeah, what their metabolism rate is.
There's
how much movement's involved.
Exactly. How hard were we hitting? Is this a brick wall?
Are they doing crunches into a wall?
Probably not at 150.
I'm just saying they could be pretty weak crunches, but still,
I don't. So to wrap this up, I don't think this is a true fact, but we need to test it more. Laura has volunteered to be our test subject.
I have not.
And we will conduct this test later this week.
Don't be looking for a post on social media about this because it will not happen.
Oh, and because she said that,
It will
it's
not happen.
gonna happen.